I moved to TJ in 2004 because I was really interested and excited about the opportunity to live in another country and to learn Spanish and to just be around something a little different than what I had been in before. I live in Playas de Tijuana, which is a beach community. It's quiet. I live about a block and a half from the actual US-Mexico border gate. That's something that creates a very interesting personality for the neighborhood as well, because there's a lot of different events that happen on that border, a lot of artwork that happens there. I really enjoy the food, I really enjoy the culture, the music. It's a really enjoyable place and a really comfortable place to live. For considerably less money, you can get a much nicer place to live. So that's one of the things. Food is cheaper, car work is cheaper, laundry is cheaper. For the most part, everything's a bit cheaper in Mexico. How I'm treated sort of varies by the day. Some days, everyone stares at me when I walk by, and a lot of times people will yell little things like, "Güerita." I think most people are just surprised that I would live there, and it just intrigues them. I do speak Spanish. It took me a while to learn Spanish. I'd say after about 2.5 years of living there, I started feeling like I could communicate with just about anybody about just about anything. But the first couple years were challenging, mainly because Tijuana has a special kind of Spanish. There's a lot of slang, and there's a lot of things that people say in TJ that just aren't anything you would ever learn if you tried to study out of a book. You'd have to be there and listen to people. There's definitely a street life down there. There's street musicians and vendors and clowns, just a variety of people in the street selling things or performing, and that's definite difference than in the United States. Seeing the poverty in TJ visually is stunning. I mean, it's a really overwhelming and so completely contrasted with what's happening here in San Diego and what San Diego looks like. It's interesting. People have definitely learned how to make the best of their situation. People have definitely learned how to survive and still have some amount of happiness, despite the fact that they really probably make next to nothing. I look like a complete rich person compared to most people that I know down there. And compared to someone in the US, I'm just sort of average. Most people react with shock when I tell them I live in Tijuana. Usually they have a dozen questions. Where do you live? Is it safe? Why do you live there? Are you crazy? A lot of people have a lot of questions about crossing the border, the physical act of crossing the border. Do I wait in a 2-hour line on my way into the US every day? What time do I have to leave to get here on time? Things like that. I have a Sentry Pass, so my border crossing is pretty quick. Sentry Pass is a commuter lane that allows you to go through with the security clearance, so it's generally considerably shorter. For example, 10 minutes, the wait might be 10 minutes or 15 minutes instead of 2 hours, 3 hours. I've lived in Tijuana for 5 years now, and I'll probably live there for another year or so. I really am thinking about moving back to the East Coast to live with my family and live closer to my family. And no doubt it's been the most interesting, unique experience that I've ever had living anywhere, and overall just incredibly positive and amazing, but there will be a time to sort of move on and go do something else.